Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Team Call. For those of you who don't know me quite yet, my name is Susan Bailey. I'm a Senior Ruby Ambassador with Plexus, and I am so grateful to be able to be here with you all this evening. I'm even more grateful to be able to welcome my really dear friend, Kristen Cucci. She's also a teammate of mine, and she is going to be our speaker for this evening. Now, if you haven't had the joy of meeting Kristen yet, you are going to quickly learn that she has a really big heart for people, and she also really has the gift for teaching. She's an elementary school teacher after all, but this really comes out so beautifully in everything that she does. And you're going to see that Kristen's very creative. She has a huge drive to always be learning something new, and she's really good at applying the new things that she's learning as well. So I'm just really excited for you to all experience that firsthand this evening. And with that being said, I'm actually going to hand things over to Kristen right now and just let her start sharing immediately, because I really want her to have as much time as possible to be sharing with us. So you are in for a treat. And Kristen, welcome, and go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, thank you guys. This is super nerve-wracking. I actually did this for a full semester, as I said, as a teacher when I had to teach online, and I haven't really used these capabilities on my own again here on Zoom, but we'll get started. I'm going to share my screen with you tonight. I'm very much a visual learner, and as a teacher, I always use PowerPoint, so I have to do it here tonight too. So I'm going to just try to find my screen here a minute. Oh, I wonder if it's pulled up. Uh-oh. Hold on, guys. Give me just 1 second to pull it up here, and I will be ready to go. So a little bit about me. I have been sharing Plexus for about 1 full year, I would say. I've been sharing. I've been using the product since 2020, and I have quickly learned that this is an awesome opportunity and one that I didn't want to miss out on, and I needed to try and see how it went. So part of that, my expertise, I hope you can see this screen yet. I used to be, well, I still do sell products for a teacher website. And so a lot of what I'm going to share with you now is stuff that I've learned through that experience and how it's transferring over to my experiences here with Plexus. So can everybody just give me a nod if you can see my screen? You can see it? It's loading. Okay. So one of my favorite quotes is don't be afraid to fail, be afraid to not try. I say that often as a teacher because I just know that kids often have just that perspective, I can't do stuff sometimes. I thought I would start with a story that I heard in a devotion the other day. And so it's all about Christopher Wren. I don't know if you've heard of the story of Christopher Wren, but he was a famous architect, and he was tasked with rebuilding St. Paul's Cathedral in like 1600s. And when he observed 3 bricklayers on a scaffold, he saw one who was kind of half standing, one who was crouched over, and one who was standing tall, working hard and fast. He went over to each bricklayer, and the one that was kind of crouched over, he said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm a bricklayer." And he went to the second one who was half standing, and he said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Well, I'm a builder." And he went to the third one, and he said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm a cathedral builder." And so I start tonight with that because I want to tell you that tonight, when we talk about sharing your story, we have to have belief in ourselves. We cannot share unless we believe. And I know that my belief has gotten stronger when I have shared. And so, or my story has gotten stronger as I have had a better belief. So Christopher Wren did not lay a single brick. He directed the instruction. So let's look at, what that looked like. Okay, so he directed that. And you think about that, and you just think about the connection here to us and what we're doing. We are the brick layers, okay? And we also are behind the scenes instructing, aren't we? But where do we go to get our strength? And where do we go to lean in. So when we are nervous about sharing our story or nervous about doing the things we're doing here with network marketing, and for me, that's the Lord. I really have to rely on him. And one of the things that's really attracted me to Plexus Worldwide is, and this community here in BU, is the fact that many of you do what you do because you have a higher calling and you see that this is a vehicle for so much more than just making people healthy. And so the verse Proverbs 3:5-6 has been my life verse. It's trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your paths. I've literally relied on that verse. Like I went to school to be a nurse. I came out a teacher. I went to school to be a teacher and now, and with 4 kids and whatever. And now look at me, I'm doing network marketing. Never would have thought this. I'm sure a lot of you can feel the same way. Like, where am I and how did I end up here? Well, you know what? God's weaving your story together. And I want you to keep that in mind tonight, that he's weaving you to his perfect masterpiece like this cathedral. So our greatest fear should not be of failure, but of succeeding at things in life that don't really matter. And I've heard that in here before, but that's so true. It's such a great quote, that we have an opportunity here. And if we can get through our fears, it's amazing what maybe God could do. So our goals for tonight, I want you to be able to state the 4 ways we share our stories with intentionality. That word intentional, be intentional. That's going to come up tonight. I'm learning as I go that if I'm intentional, that the harvest comes. And if I'm consistent, the harvest comes. And so when we're waiting for people to join us or people to get on our team and do this with us, it's usually because of things we were intentional about doing 90 days prior. And I've seen that in my own business. And so I want you to think about that tonight too. And then be able to create a post that shows you are living your brand using Facebook or Instagram stories or both. So I couldn't come on here tonight without reading a storybook. Sorry, but I'm a teacher, so you're in for a little treat. This story I just read to my students, and it's called The Rabbit Listened. And as I read it to you, I want you to think about the characters in the story. So something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. Sorry, I can't read up here. Hold on. I gotta move you people. Clack, clack, I think he says. Oh, sorry. Clack, clack, I'm so sorry. So sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. Clack, clack. But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Grrr, grrr, how horrible. I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it. Grrr, grrr, grrr. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do. Trump-da-da. I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant also left. One by one they came. The hyena. Let's laugh about it. The ostrich. Gulp. Let's hide and pretend nothing happened. The kangaroo. Tss, tss. What a mess. Let's throw it all away. And the snake. Shh. Let's go knock down someone else's. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody. So eventually they all left until Taylor was alone. And in the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit, but it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together they sat in silence until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. And one day, Taylor decided to build something new, something special. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again. I can't wait, Taylor said. It's going to be amazing. So when I see this tonight, you guys, I just think of the rabbit as being God, Jesus in our lives, and that we can also be the rabbit for other people. And that the Lord is listening and working, even when you don't see it. He is working, and so let that encourage you a little bit tonight as we talk, and hopefully it'll help you be a little brave about what we're going to discuss tonight. So your story is still being written. I don't know how this thing got on the screen, so bear with me, but your story is still being written, you guys, and the only way that failure can get the last word in our life is if we choose to let it. We serve a God who is able to take our defeats and our missteps and still use it to bring us glory to his name. So if you haven't even written your story yet, you haven't even said it out loud, know that he's still with you, and he's going to help you do that. So it's important that we follow different practices here in order to build a strong business network. I saw a quote the other day that said, your network is your net worth. And I thought about that, and I thought, yes, there is truth to that, but I give everything I do to our Heavenly Father who gives it to me. And that's a huge responsibility. But if we follow these simple steps that we already know that are good, that we've heard from people, that are ones that we should follow, you will be on the right track to consistency. And I do believe you will see the harvest in 90 days. So here we go. So big thing here is create relationships. Always be creating relationships wherever you go, and ask yourself who you are as a leader. And then branding is what's bringing us here today. How does Plexus help you live your life? That question should be constantly in the forefront of your mind when you are thinking about what you want to say to people. When you are thinking about what to post on Facebook, keep thinking, how does Plexus help your life? Because it's helping my life different than it's helping your life. Maybe we have some similarities, because we know that the root of all things in the body become part of the big three: blood sugar, inflammation, and gut health. And that's what makes Plexus stand apart. How is that helping you? And so then, what will you say about it? Building relationships is so huge, you guys. Everybody's got to know, like, and trust you if they're going to join you. And so I think back to the very basics of even running my own classroom, or when I meet anyone. I think about how the Lord told us in the Bible, the greatest commandment in the law is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and all your mind. That's the greatest commandment. And the second one is love your neighbor as yourself. So if we're really going to do this, and we're really going to love our neighbors, what is that going to look like? And what is that going to sound like? And how is that going to come out in our stories? So branding is so a part of right now. Plexus is talking about their rebrand, and we're trying to jump on and figure out what that looks like for us, but yet we still need to stay true to who we are. So how are you going to capture somebody else's attention? And knowing your story is an important piece of that. And also learning where your audience is hanging out. So, knowing your story. We all know that facts tell, but stories sell. So what is your story? And it doesn't have to be that complicated. And I have to tell you that my story continues to evolve. I think because I'm still within the first year of Plexus, or like my first year of sharing, but then also, I'm only a year in, and we know that these products and time and consistency continue to hack away at layers in our body. And so we ended up having, cleaner skin and things that we didn't have those first couple months we might have started sharing. So these are things that we can continue to share. So it says, who are you and where you have been, what has happened in your life to cause you to look for something more, how you heard about Plexus and why you had to be a part of it, and what is it you're doing for you or going to do for you. Those are really good questions to get you thinking about how you're going to post, okay? Each and every day. So can we tell our story without posting? That's a really good question. It's one I'm getting asked on my own very team right now. Yes, we can. But I use this analogy of, look at these guys. They are mining for gold, right? And they're in this big, huge area. Let's picture that big, huge area as being the earth, all the people in it, right? All the people who can order Plexus, I guess, Australia, Canada, Mexico, and United States. And can you guys still hear me? Okay, good. Sorry. And so you are trying to dig in this land to find at least 3 people that will join you when you start. And when you look at that vast, huge range, it's like overwhelming, right? But we have to keep digging and digging and digging to find our 3, or to find the people that are going to join us and come along with us. Well, if we only tell our story without posting, we might be just the little teeny crevice over to the right that we're digging through. And what if our brick, or what if our person, or whatever analogy you want to use here, is on the other side? How are we going to get to them? So I think that's really important to know that this whole thing, network marketing, Facebook and Instagram allow you to do that and allow you to be able to broaden that so that you can reach more people, which seems very obvious. But I think when you think of it in terms of this picture and how we need to keep digging, it's the reason why we do what we do. Okay, so where are people hanging out? This is a distribution of Instagram users in 2022 so far. Look at the age and female and male demographics here. You can quick look at this. In terms of social media demographics, in the world, ages 34 years or younger, our largest age group is 18 to 34 years old. So know who you're wanting to talk to. If your people are older than 34 years old that you're really trying to reach right now, Instagram might not be the best fit for you. They might not be there. So thinking about that. Facebook, though, remains the most used platform by marketers worldwide, 93%. But Instagram is slowly up there. And if you want to know the up and rising with the young people right now, it's TikTok. TikTok is the highest social media platform right now. With all of these things said, what are Facebook stories and Instagram going to do for me? Well, Facebook stories or Instagram stories, they do go hand in hand, and I'll show you that tonight. Shorter user-generated photos and videos that can be viewed for 24 hours before they disappear. You might think, oh, that's not an advantage, but it is an advantage because it creates a sense of urgency, you guys. So others are wanting to view it before the 24 hours is up. Or they know that they're only going to see what they see, so they got to look at it if they're looking at something or they're trying to follow you. You can also collect data. This is huge. I'm a teacher. I drive my instruction by data, and I drive who I reach out to by data. And I can tell you that when I first started reaching out, I only used Facebook stories to know who I was going to reach out to right off the bat, because as soon as I started posting on there and connecting with people on there, I knew who was looking. So if I knew who was looking, then I would generate a message that sounded like this. Hey, I noticed that you were looking at my Facebook stories, and I'm wondering if this is moral support or if you want to learn more. I'd love to share more with you. And I would leave it that simple. And I found out I would get a 50-50 rate at the beginning of, I already use Plexus and sure, I'd love to learn more, or I'd get the no, which you're going to get. But most of the time I was getting a yes, like I want to hear more. Now that I'm in this a little bit longer and people know me and they've been following me, I still recognize that the people following me are a lot of times people who have been using Plexus. But now I'm trying to be intentional in learning what types of posts I need to be posting to get those new attractors back. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about. So if you're somebody who's in my boat, you're going to learn too that part's important. So in 2021, we've learned that stories are important because they beat Facebook posts in newsfeed because Facebook stories has a higher organic reach than Facebook posts do. Okay, that's huge, you guys. Higher organic reach. How many of you have been starting to feel like nobody's watching your wall anymore? I can tell you that you're going to learn a little bit more tonight about how you can double dip a little bit and it's going to boost your content. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. If you have a Facebook post and you have 1 million friends, you guys, you are likely to only reach 1% of that, which is 10,000 people. That's not a lot when you're talking a million. So how do we change that? Facebook stories is how you're going to change that. You are going to reach more people. There is a low competition there right now, which means there's a high demand. So I said, hello opportunity, you guys. Huge opportunity. We want to be there. So what this was to some of you who started sharing on your Facebook walls when Facebook first, or when Plexus first started, I feel like we have that new excitement again by using Facebook stories because we can reach lots of people who haven't been hearing about Plexus or may have, but how are we going to grab them and help them understand our brand and who we are? So we all are here because we want more leads. We always want more leads. Instagram and Facebook stories, 83% of people are looking there. There are still 93% of people looking at our grid posts or our regular wall, but that doesn't mean we discontinue one or the other. It means we need to work with them together. They are the most popular types of content right now, and it's where people are shopping. Here are some examples of what you can do using stories. And I'm going to go into this a little bit. There's interactive tools. And so you can see, you can use text, you can use like it things to swipe. If you've been on there, you know what this stuff is, but you might be going, how do I do it? And I'm going to talk to you about that tonight. So one thing that I think is really cool, if you look at the picture over on the right, you see a little like paper clip, how to make this deliciousness. That's a link. You guys, we can put links in our stories to get people to click to things. That's huge. We can use tags to get more eyeballs on our pages. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about that. So guess what? I'm a teacher and I know I hardly have kids' attention very long. So I'm going to tell you, in the internet world, you've got it less than the teaching world. You've got 15 to 30 seconds. That is not a lot of time, you guys, or we're swiping by. You know it because you do it too. And so you have 15 to 30 seconds to capture someone's attention. That's huge. It's actually quite a bit of time if you want. It doesn't seem like a lot, but there's a lot you can do in that amount of time. So what's our purpose in sharing? Here are the 4 reasons you are sharing on Facebook. Maybe you'll come up with more, but here are my 4 reasons. You're launching something, you're looking for leads, you're creating visibility, or you need engagement. Okay, these are the 4 things, and each one of them is going to have a purpose tonight that I'm going to share with you. And it's going to be something you may be using, knowing where you're at in your business. You might be doing more launching posts. You might be doing more visibility posts. It's all going to depend on where you are at personally in your business. Sorry, that's 3 times. Uh-oh. There we go. Sorry about that. So why are you posting your posts? You just doing it just to do it because your sponsor says to do it in order to gain more followers? Or are you being intentional? And so those 4 areas that I'm telling you about are going to help you create intentionality. Here's a launching example. So if you're wondering what's a launching is like a new product. Okay, we've seen our uplines do this when a new product's about to come out, but then we also follow and we want to give it out to people and let them know what's happening. So I have something new and exciting in the works that I think you are going to love. Or I've gotten a lot of questions about my product. I will answer 3 questions now and then pop your questions into the comments. You can do that using stories. That's setting you apart from just your wall where you say, hopefully they'll respond in the comments below. And so it's a new month, guys. You can use this example. Launching posts happen at the beginning of the month often, especially if you want people to know about the active this month that is free with a welcome pack. Use a launching post this week. So here's an example of a launching post that I made. Okay, it's in stories. And I will talk about some of these features that I used in here, but you can see I'm repeating a picture even. It's okay to repeat a picture, but this story runs and it lasts 30 seconds. My storyboard that I usually use is about 4 to 5 slides. I try not to be more than 4 to 5 slides. So I've gotten a lot of questions about Slim. I'm going to give them some stuff. Number 1, what is it made of? 2, how do I take it? 3, is this for weight loss? And then, what questions do you have? And so I answered a few, let them think about it, and then maybe they can answer me some questions at the in the last slide. Lead generation examples. The purpose of this is for new warm contacts or to attract those on the fence. I feel like we all do these a lot. And these are okay to do a lot. You want to be continuing to attract people. But here is a product example versus an opportunity example in a minute. So did you know that health issues stem from 3 important areas? If you are ready to gain energy, get better sleep, feel your best, click here. That's a simple one. Opportunity example, have you ever thought about another stream of income? Maybe you thought you'd have to get a job. What if I told you I did not get another job and I have another stream of income that pays for my kids' extra activities, health products, and more? And then I left a poll. I'm going to show you this one. I actually just posted it tonight. So this is my post tonight. If you go to my wall right now, or my stories, this is what you will see. Okay. I'm trying to draw in some more warm contacts. It's the beginning of the month. I'm starting over, and I've also got some follow-up still. But I've asked these same questions in here. It's so fun because there's lots of features you can do with typing things out, making them look nice. But I can tell you right now, yes, that stuff is cool. It'll attract people. Is it necessary? Not always. I mean, if my text isn't moving, it's okay. It's not moving as long as it's there and people can read it. I think that the point is that the content and what you're saying is important, not the flashiness. Flashiness is going to grab attention, and that's important, but not to the degree of what you're saying. Okay? So you can see here how I ended, want to be a part of it. So the thing about stories that I think people miss out on is having a storyboard that moves and has something at the end that captures their draw, like gets them to respond in some sort of way. All right, another lead generation would be, worried that plexus gut health system won't work for you. Meet, and then you can introduce somebody on your team, somebody that you've gotten okay to share their story, and then talk about what they were struggling with and ask people to reply. So here's somebody on my team who has struggled. Here's the way that would look. Worried that plexus gut health system won't work for you? Meet. This is my friend Chris, tells you what she was struggling with. After taking plexus, she now has her life back. Ready to stop struggling? They can just put their name in there. Engagement examples. This is going to get people to make comments. The purpose of engagement kinds of posts is to get people to get into your DMs, your direct messaging. That is another benefit of stories, is when somebody responds, it goes straight to direct messages. So you don't have to move things from your wall to your messenger, and you can just start a chat with them. And so an example here is, I know from the outside it can look like I have it all together, but the truth is I've been struggling with, and I did this last week, fear of failure. I want to share with you, I've been working through it. Is fear of failure something you struggle with? How do you come up with these kind of posts? I think you come up with them by identifying people's pain points and why they would be drawn to plexus. So examples would be stress management. Do you struggle with that? missing making your own money, identity outside of being a wife or a mom or a husband, tired of crazy schedules, kids are really expensive. These are really good ways to use this kind of engagement post. You can also do this with engagement posts with like favorite foods. When you go to Costco, what are you grabbing? What kind of coffee do you drink? What you can give lots of different things. You're just trying to get people to talk to you. So here's one I have, this is about, I know my life might have it all together. Truth is I struggle. And I said, is caring about others and what they think something you struggle with? So I'm just trying to relate to people, get them to talk to me. The last one is visibility examples. This gains more eyeballs on your page. This is genius. I have not tried this yet, and I'm going to. This is my next plan. It's you tell people you love something. Like, I love podcasts. Lately, I've been listening to such and such and such and such. And then, or you can talk about products. Some products just make life easier. Here are 3 products that I use every day to make my life more efficient, and you can give some products. So here's my product one. Some products just make life easier. Here are 3 I use every day. Guys, look what I did. I tagged the Tide people. I tagged the Google people. I tagged Plexus Worldwide. Am I tagging them just to be nice? I'm tagging them to get more eyeballs on my page. Because when I tag them, somebody else who's tagged them, I go, ooh, why has she got that picture? I wonder what that is. And then they look at it and I'm getting more people to come to me. So it's a great way to get more visibility on your page. So I tell people I spill all the time. And of course I'm being relatable because it's true. I spill all the time, you guys. I have Google Calendar. It helps me survive life. It keeps my marriage together. And I have, I love Active. Active is how I keep going every morning with 4 kids and teaching full time and doing this on the side. And then I just say, what product do you love and use every day? Couple more things here and then I'm almost done. I know we're running late on time here a little bit, but how do you use add-ons on your story? So those things that I was talking about, like the @ symbol, the text, the music, the sticker, the poll, the question, all of those are going to be in your, I'll show you in a second, in your Instagram if you choose to use it, or they will be in Facebook. Facebook limits you though. Okay, so Susie and I actually figured this out with trial and error. Go Susie for giving it a try. And she taught me something here. So when you link your Facebook and your Instagram, and you can just link your stories or you can link your walls together, but if you link your stories, you're gonna get more options in Instagram, and you can record a video up to 1 minute and it will break it down into 15-second increments for you and allow you to edit on each 15-second thing. So I found it to be very worth it to move my Instagram. This is how worth it I thought it was. I sold for TPT, which is another company, and I am transferring my Instagram page right now to show my lifestyle as a teacher and what I'm trying to rebrand myself. I'm working on this to show my life as a teacher and how I'm surviving it all using Plexus products and continuing to do the things I love. Because Instagram, I do believe, is just on the forefront of having more buttons for more engagement opportunities. But the biggest piece of that is having that 1 minute video. If you ever want to use video, it breaks it down so nicely so you don't just stop and start at 15 seconds like you would on Facebook. And you don't have like overlap. It's so nice. So one thing to consider. So if you do that, you will get all these options over here, and you will be able to use them however you would like to use them. So where are they? This is what it looks like on your Instagram. Okay. So you can do a mention. You can actually add another photo on top of a photo. You can ask a question, add music, ask a quiz question, add more stickers, polls, and different things there to shout out to people. So Instagram and Facebook, how do they work together? There it is right there, guys. You should have, when you go to post, you should have an option here to slide over. You can also put it on Twitter if you use Twitter, but you can tag people and do other things there. You can also go to your original settings in your Instagram settings and tell them that you want yours two things to be linked. So you can do that. You can shut this off per post. There's sometimes I post things on Facebook and I don't post them in Instagram. I'm learning a little bit how I want to present myself in both worlds yet. Just because I had a whole different world on Instagram. Here is a really cool thing I want to tell you. If you hear anything tonight, content stacking is amazing, you guys. When you use Facebook stories or Instagram stories that come over to Facebook, you can attract people to your stories and get them to your wall. So that's how I did it. I took my face out. I just said new post. And you can get them to find that picture that's on my Facebook wall right now, and they'll go down to my feed. So not only am I hitting people who look at stories, but now I'm hitting people who might just scan through my wall possibly. Okay, so you're driving your traffic to the wall to find out more about you. So sharing your post and stories, if you do anything tonight, practice that. Every time you post on your wall, post the picture on stories and say, new post, or I'd love to share more, it's on my wall. It's going to help get more traffic to your wall, okay? Because I'm sure you guys, maybe you have or have not heard it, but when you make a post, there's like a micro test of who is going to be looking at your stuff. And it will push it out to more people if you have people sharing or liking or looking and scrolling past your stuff. So if we can get more people to do that, I've already told you the statistics of people are looking more at stories and coming down to your wall. It's just going to give you more visibility. Okay. So the biggest point here though is don't give all your juicy details in your stories. Make them go to your wall. And then last but not least, this was a recommendation, whether you guys caught it or not at Super Saturday, but it's something to think about and pause about. So how will you use your Facebook wall, and how will you use your Facebook stories or your Instagram stories and it comes over to your Facebook? How will it provide value to your audience? Are you going to put things in your wall that help people, gain value? Because that's why they're going to come to you. And then maybe your stories are going to be how you connect and start building your business. And sometimes maybe you're going to trickle things onto your wall more about your business. So it's something that, you can test and play with, but I can tell you that it's going to be worth it. And I know that you're going to attract more visibility if you're purposeful and intentional with why you're posting and what kinds of posts you're making, and if you're using stories. So that's all I have for you tonight. Do you have any questions?
Kristen, I think there are quite a few questions in the comments here. But given the time, I'm wondering if maybe after this call, if you want to take a look at the comments, and then if you're open to answering some of those questions when we post recording tomorrow, would that be okay?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, awesome. Kristen, thank you so much. I learned new things tonight. I'm very excited to put some of these things in practice. I'm sure many other people are feeling the same way. So thank you just for sharing your knowledge with us, for just adding value to this team. You are such a gift to all of us. And we're just so grateful that you shared your evening with us. So we're going to sign off for the evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you learned something new as well. Have a great night.